All right, little Sister Rosetta Tharpe this morning to get us going. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Up above my head, I see freedom in the air. Up above my head, I see freedom in the air. Oh, I really do believe, yeah, there must be heaven somewhere up in this room. There's beauty in the air, all up in this room. There's music in the air. I really do believe it, yeah. There must be heaven somewhere all around the world. There's music in the air all around the world. I see freedom in the air, yeah, yeah. And I really do believe, there must be heaven somewhere. Come on, Mr. Steele. Woo! Believe it, there must be heaven right here. Yes, I really do believe we are in heaven right here. I really do believe it. We are in heaven, we are in heaven, I am in heaven. I do believe, yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland as we gather with a knowing that we are in heaven right here, this state of oneness with a presence and a power, a quantum field that created us all. And as humanity, as we learn to shift our perceptions, to open our hearts, and to recognize our oneness, our interconnectedness, we find this movement of spirit happens within us and around us. And so as we gather this morning, I was looking at something Rumi said. You know, the 13th century Sufi poet, love is the cure. Your pain will give birth to more pain until your eyes exhale love as effortlessly as your body yields its scent. Love is the cure. And pain will give birth to more pain until your eyes exhale love as effortlessly as your body yields its scent. And I don't know about you, but my body yields its scent very easily right now. So what we're going for is openness. We're going for eyes of love that have no choice but to open our hearts. As we begin this service in prayer, I just invite you to remember we're in heaven right here, right now, opening hearts, connected as one. Mother, Father, God, infinite Spirit, we say yes. Yes to opening. Yes to a greater understanding. And yes to a movement of love that vitalizes our bodies, our beings, our lives, and moves around us throughout this planet. For every being, everywhere, we hold you as the light. We honor who you are and the light you came to share with this world. And we stand in that truth clearly, calmly, lovingly, saying, yes, Infinite Spirit, express through me, express through us as we hold a world in a knowing that we are love. And for this opportunity to gather together, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, and we simply say, yes, here I am, Infinite Spirit, move through me. And so it is. Amen. And so we welcome you this morning as we continue just taking this journey of life right now. There's lots happening here and around us. Our annual plant sale has been extended until April 30th. If you're interested, go online onto our website, go onto our email, and you can look at all the different options this year. Our Spirit Groups begins this week, which we're starting a 12-week series called Divine Audacity. And for 12 weeks, we are looking at individual spiritual principles that will take us to the next level, that will allow us to move through whatever's happening in our lives. It doesn't matter what's happening in our lives. What matters is the principles that we have anchored and are using. And the Spirit Groups are working with those. Right now, we have 2 groups open. All the rest are full. So Sundays at 11:30, there will actually be a group meeting here. They'll be meeting in the sanctuary, socially distanced. It's a small group if you'd like to be a part of that. You're welcome to sign up for that. And then Wednesdays at 7 p.m., again, by Zoom. Those are the 2 groups that are open currently. So there's 2 groups open, And we have a new class starting, Standing Firm When Your World is Shaking. Now, I'm sure there are no worlds shaking right now, but just in case, it's being taught by our prayer practitioner, Lynn Soden, 4 Mondays, May 3rd through May 24th, 7 to 8:30, and it's $40. We invite you to look at that. These principles are powerful that she's working with. And, she said the principles and tools found in this program have been tested and proven over the past 30 years to help thousands of people all over the world anchor themselves in these principles and these ideas. Okay, spiral dynamics and what is happening now. There is a one evening session happening with Reverend E.J. Niles. I've talked about it. It will be Wednesday, May 19th at 7 p.m. Save the date. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear Reverend E.J. talk about, she'll do a tiny piece on spiral dynamics and how we're moving through and what's happening right now in humanity, because it's powerful to see through that lens. Our garden team would love to have some new members. You can work by yourself. You can work on the garden day. There's lots of things to do out there right now. I know we have mulch and weeds and all kinds of wonderful things sprouting that would love loving attention. So they're there. Our youth and family ministry is doing a gentle reopening. And of course, with everything happening around here, this will all be shifting. All of this that we're doing, I feel like life right now is a movement of spirit, which means you take a step and you say, is this where we need to be? Yes or no. Then you take another step. You decide where we're going. Right now, our intention is to bring back in by class, and they'll be in the garden. So we're starting May 16th with our preschoolers, and then the 23rd is the kindergarten and first graders, and there's a whole thing published. You can look at it. And then on Sunday, June 13th, we are hoping to have a family fun day out in the parking lot after the service. We will find out to work with that. We are also looking at the idea of outdoor services. If that's something that would interest you, let us know, and because we really haven't heard much about it, and so we're just listening and waiting to see if that's something we'd like to look at immediately following this indoor service. So just letting you know those pieces. We are going to take a moment and sing, and I just invite you to join with us as we sing from, I believe it's Daniel Nabod.
Yes, Daniel Nabod's I'm in the right place at the right time. Yes, do you agree?
Yes.
Well, let's stand up
yes.
of those of you who are in the sanctuary and those of you who are watching us via live. Let's sing together. Let's stand and sing. All right. All right. Ah, yes. Move around in these beautiful vessels that we get to hang out on earth in. All right? Yeah. Let's sing together. I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Sing that again. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. And oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Do you feel it? Do you believe it? Do you know it? Oh, yeah. Let's sing it together again. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed. Oh, my soul, and oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Now we get to have some fun, all right? I want you to sing this part right here. You sing it, say, my soul is welcome here. Come on, sing. My soul is welcome here. Open up your heart. My soul is welcome here. Yes, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Your soul, my soul is welcome here. Our souls, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yes. That is the truth.
Oh, yes. And as we look around our space, whether it's here or somewhere else, I just invite you to look at every soul that is in this room, that is around your world, and know they are welcome here. They are creations of infinite spirit. And as our heart says, namaste, the divine in me greets and acknowledges and honors the divine in you. So we just are blessed with this. The idea that my soul is welcome here, so much of that's a perception, by the way. That's a way of seeing our world. And as we move into a time of meditation, I believe part of what we're being invited to do is to recognize that, yes, we were born in the right place and the right time. Yes, this is the right time for transformation. And as we get quiet and open our hearts to this message of love, of life that moves through us, we know that our soul is welcome here.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, oh, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary for you, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, oh, and with thanksgiving, I am a living sanctuary for you.
Oh, yes. Infinite presence, move through me. I am a sanctuary. I allow that overflowing movement of love to flow through me this moment, this breath. I am open to the infinite wisdom that is present as I continue to relax my body into the knowing that within my being, I am a sanctuary for infinite love, for life, divine life, and for this presence. And in the silence, I simply breathe in this understanding in the silence. Moment by moment, during my journey, during each day, I call forth the very presence of the infinite as faith, as an awareness that I am divinely guided, that I am in my perfect place, with a movement of spirit that happens in and through and as me this day. And for this awareness, which flows through that sanctuary of my soul, I say, yes, yes, Lord, yes, I am that I am, and so it is.
Mark actually introduced me to this next song. Actually introduced me to this gospel artist. The audacity of him. It's a wonderful song by Mr. Donald Lawrence, and it's called Encourage Yourself. Yeah, sometimes we have to do that. Yes. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to speak victory during the test. No matter how you feel, just speak the word and you will be healed. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Yes. Sometimes you have to speak courage. Encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to speak victory during the test. No matter how you feel, just speak the word and you shall be healed. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. I love this song, yes. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself when the pressure is all around. Know that God is a present help. The enemy created walls, but the love of God surpasses them all. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. And as I minister to you, I minister to myself. And life can hurt you so like you feel, yes, there's nothing left. No matter how you feel, speak the word of love and you can be healed. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself. Have the audacity of faith. Speak over yourself. Oh yes, our words have power. Encourage yourself. Yes, I can do it. I am. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord, in the Lord, in the Lord.
Wow. Wow, wow. LaRonda and Mark, thank you. Oh, encourage yourself. Anybody have to do any encouraging in the last week or 2 weeks? Let's see, what is life calling for us right now? What is it calling from us? What is it asking us to learn and to be and to do? Because we're being asked, this world is happening all around us. There's no way of not seeing it. We can try to hide from it. I've done that. If anybody else tried to, if I just do this or this or this, this is a way that I can just get away from it. And sometimes that's self-care. Sometimes it's not. But the biggest piece, I want to talk about this idea of divine audacity. First of all, the audacity to encourage ourselves. The audacity to begin allowing an awareness of the divine in action in our world, maybe even if we don't like what's happening. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of times when I say, couldn't we just hurry this up? This evolution thing, couldn't we just get to the next level and be where, what would happen if we both trusted the journey of right where we are and had the audacity to believe? The audacity to believe that right where we are is where we're supposed to be. The audacity to encourage ourselves to say, oh, today you're looking like you're on the floor here, sweetie. Maybe we need to stand up. Maybe we need to find more truth about who we are. Maybe I need to say, I am enough. I have everything I need in this moment because I'm never alone. There's a presence and a power that's within me and around me and that is calling us further. There's so much. Pema Chardon teaches that by embracing all the happiness and the suffering, all the intelligence and the confusion that are natural parts of our existence, is in parentheses, that it's possible to say yes to life and all of its manifestations. Doing so opens a wellspring of courage and love within our hearts. Because I believe it takes both of those right now to meet our world, to meet where we are. Today we're going to talk about faith and this idea that the actual power is within us. And I don't know how we move through a day without calling forth some of the essence of spirit. And this is something that Unity and New Thought has taught forever, and I know many other traditions and mystical teachers have, that this presence is within us. What Unity does that I love is, since I was a little girl, it has said, you have faith in you. You have wisdom in you. You have strength in you. And what the idea is let's develop it. Let's move with it. So I want to talk about, first of all, a lot happened this week. I want to acknowledge that. It's all over the place in so many areas. We had a verdict in a case that, I don't know about you, but it could be tough to just put one foot in front of the other. I had very strong feelings. And that verdict was one baby step toward accountability. It wasn't the end of the road. It was the beginning of a road. It's another step on a journey that humanity is being asked to take. Something else that happened this week, at least I saw it this week, I know it happened earlier, the United Methodist Church broke into 3 different sections. And it was over the LGBTQ piece and who's accepted and who's not. And this idea of humanity, and personally having a close friend who has gone through seminary in the United Methodist Church, in their seminary. And because she's lesbian, she was told, because she has a different lifestyle, she got to the very end and they said, we'll ordain you someday, and then came back 2 years ago and said, no, we won't. And so her journey of prayer, of saying, who am I within this world, has actually created this strong being. I look at her, I'm like, she's nothing like she was 2 years ago. And she was one of the ministers that joined together and said, well, let's figure out who does believe that we're whole and infinite and complete. And it's a huge, strong portion. And my belief is, and Pierre Teilhard Chardin said, the biggest difficulty we have is the difference between those who fear the future, or the biggest difference, those who fear the future and those who are ready for it. And he said, it will separate us. And what we must do is walk confidently in the direction of the future. I believe we'll all get there. Right now, we're being asked to go inside our hearts and to find something more, because immediately after that verdict, there were more shootings. I mean, we're becoming aware of it. So we're being asked to change. It's heavy, it's hard, but our job is to stay vigilant, to do our work, to find out where all of that intersects with us, and then to begin to say, here I am. Because if we're alive, we're a part of the expansion of our world. We live in a world of paradox. There is so much important work to do in the outer, but there's also a lot to do in the inner. And I know this. I know that the very quality of faith allows us to take another step. What would happen? And I want to start with an idea. In Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. I grew up hearing faith is the perceiving power of the mind, and this was even when I was a little kid, the perceiving power of the mind linked with the ability to shape substance. Now, what that means to me, what I learned gradually as I moved up, was that faith is actually a power in me, and this is quantum physics. This is just flat out quantum physics, that is able to perceive. It is the ability for me to see something. When you look around your home or your world and you see divine creations of spirit, that is your ability to perceive. And we're going to talk about our perceptions, because what's being changed right now in this country is our perceptions. We're taught from the time we were little kids to believe this way or this way or this way. And now we're opening and saying, wait a minute, this isn't accurate. But it's the ability to perceive linked with our ability to shape substance. And substance is this quantum field all around us. So when I believe in myself and say, I am enough for this day, I actually change the quantum field. And the fascinating thing is, I just don't do it here. It emanates and moves throughout this universe. Throughout this universe. In re-listening to my audiobook of The Field, I continually am amazed at literally the quantum physics that is in play every time I think a thought. And so how do I both have faith, and then, of course, I go back to, what do I have faith in? And I want to talk to you. Linda, we're using this book, Divine Audacity, which, by the way, I know we have one here today. The rest of them are supposed to be in this week. Evidently, they sent the wrong book. They weren't ready for us to have Divine Audacity, which is moving through this thing. But Linda Martello Whitsett says, faith is the power to make the possible real. Everything that is ever created on this planet comes from an idea. It comes from our minds gathering together and beginning to say, I believe this is possible. That happens in what happened in our building, this whole makeover and the painting, and if you go downstairs, it's all freshly painted. It's somebody saying, I believe this is possible. It also happens in our world when we begin to say, I believe right now change is possible here. Anybody tried to change your thought of yourself recently? Anybody tried to change? How easy is that? How's that going? Do we wake up the next day and say, oh, yes, I am an infinite creation of spirit. Look at you, you're so beautiful. Or do we get up and those old things are there? And then we got to pull them back in and say, no, I'm not going to live this way. I believe this. And you, I may not like you yet, but I'm going to. And this is where I'm going. And I love you. And I'm worthy and I'm enough. That's the journey of change. And it's happening on the planet and it's happening in us. So how do we pull it through? She says, our very sense of reality depends on faith. It's the power that realizes images held in the mind. It's the power that makes real these images. It's what moves us. And so when I say, what do I have faith in? When this verdict was coming up, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of rumbling. Do I put my faith out there in a system that I believe and don't believe? What I find for myself is that I have faith that there is a divine order in this universe. I hold every intention that there is an outcome that includes accountability, that includes the divine right action of the universe. And then I also say this or something better. I don't know what it takes to move forward. One time I thought, what would have happened with Rosa Parks if the person driving that bus hadn't said, give up your seat, and had just let her be? We would be a very different country. So sometimes I don't know what divine right action looks like, but I have absolute knowing that there is an infinite intelligence of this universe, that it is guiding us, and the more that I can open to the love, the more that I can drop the stuff in me that attacks me or attacks another or doesn't see wholeness, that I am affecting change around this planet. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin is one of the most influential evolutionaries of the 20th century. You've heard me talk about him a lot. And one of the most interesting places where he touched a soul was with Jean Houston. When she was 14, she met him. You've heard me talk about this, I'm sure, but I want to say a little more about it. Jean Houston befriended Teilhard after a chance encounter in Central Park in 1951 when she was 14 years old. They began meeting, and she took notes on what he was saying. And she shared several times that Mr. Teilhard, as she called him, that this was his spiritual interpretation of evolution. We have a need to have more specialists in spirit who will lead people in self-discovery. And she said, what do you mean? And he said, she said, I was taking notes. We are being called into metamorphosis, into a far higher order, and yet we often act only from a tiny portion of ourselves. It is necessary that we increase that portion. But do not think for 1 minute, Jean, that we are alone in making that possible. We are a part of a cosmic evolutionary movement that inspires us to unite with God. This is the lightning flash for all our potentialities. This is the great originating cause of all our shifts and changes. Without it, there is nothing but struggle and decline. And so when we look at that, and we begin to say, wait a minute, first of all, what about my perceptions? And I want to talk about the idea of perception. Our faith is based on our perceptions. And right now, it's time to question all of our perceptions because we have been raised. Anybody here, let me just stop. Anybody here raised with the perception that you're not whole and you're not enough? That's one right there. That is a global request and invitation for us to change. And so when we question our perceptions, things change. And she used an example. Now, Linda Martello Whitsett, who currently is the head of Silent Unity, the longest nonstop prayer ministry in the world that's recorded, sometimes I wonder, but Unity's prayer ministry. She is a white woman married to a black man who, when she went to her father, I believe they were in Texas, and told him, he disowned her. And it took 9 years of a very long journey for her to actually move to a place where there was healing and there was a coming together. And what had to change eventually was his perception. And he battled with this idea of my loving daughter and what this is. But she uses stories that I adore as far as how she sees this change in perception. She shared that after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech back in August 1963, NBC aired a primetime documentary anchored by the network's Chet Huntley. Huntley said this about his childhood in Montana. Now, this is after that speech has gone. He said, "We never really looked with honesty at Negroes the way we examined the anatomy of a grasshopper, say, or speculated on the after-hours life of a teacher. We looked, but we had already been told what to see." He began realizing that his perception was set by someone outside of him. What's happening right now, as far as faith, is that we're being asked to move inside and to begin with I'm enough. When we build the faith in our being, we actually resonate out around this planet, and it touches other people's perception. Because when I'm enough, you are enough. And it begins building a cycle. When we can battle with that, and don't worry if it's a lifetime battle. We don't know what we'll see in our lifetime, but I know every one of us has made a sacred contract to show up. We're going to be invited to change our perceptions in a myriad way, even if we're pulled face down, being dragged along the street. And sometimes that's about where life is. For me right now, and walking this beautiful dog that I think I said last week is not a Labrador Retriever, it is a Labrador crossed with a Great Dane. And so when the doctor said, well, they go up to 180 pounds, I don't think yours will get quite that big. All I could say was, okay, God. But now, sometimes I feel like I'm getting pulled. He's only 90 pounds right now, 90, 95. But it's like, I look at that and I think, this is what life does when I don't listen. This is what happens. We get pulled along the way. Anybody been pulled in the last year? Do you think possibly as American society, we're getting pulled face down and we're being offered the opportunity to change our perceptions? Now, I can't say what is the right perception, but I can say this. It's based on the love in our hearts. It's based on listening and opening. And when we shut down, faith is part of what opens us up, because faith actually sets the direction in our lives. So anytime, just like LaRonda said, encourage yourself, because when I say, wait a minute, this is too much, I can't believe this is happening, this should not be happening, I start shutting down. But if I end that and leave it there, and it's okay, and say, well, sweetie, I love you right there, but what I believe is that there is an order larger than I know. I believe in the sacredness of this breath, of this step, of this movement, and I'm enough for it, which means I say, I show up here. I stand here. This is how we stand. This is how we move. This is how we say, this is who I am. And the universe is asking that. So this idea, first of all, of our perception. What is my perception today? Do I believe this universe is going to support me? Do I believe that faith isn't something I hope to grab from the outside and move within me, but instead I begin saying, I am faith. And I was taught to start in the very center of your head. This idea of faith is an absolute vibration of spirit. And to begin saying, I am faith. The very essence of the quantum field has this quality within it. And that quantum field moves through me. So when I begin to stand in that, who I am and my very biology changes. Rick Hansen puts it this way, and he doesn't go into the idea of faith is your answer, because he is on a much more he's not working to talk about the spiritual field, but he talks about when we begin, and let me just say this, when we begin to believe I'm not enough, what we've just done is taken our picture or our perception and we've gotten it to a really small place. And what Rick Hansen says is that the neurobiology of our brain gets stuck in a small picture. And he said the answer to that is to see a bigger picture. And at any one moment when I say, look at this that's happening, this can't happen. I got to be there. I got to acknowledge it. I got to know I'm enough for it. I got to begin standing in this knowing. But then I got to enlarge my picture and say, wait a minute. There's a quantum field here. We've all agreed to grow and to change. I've said yes to this. And he said, at this moment, while this is happening, there are people loving their neighbor. There are people helping each other. There are people mowing their lawns just to mow their lawns. He said, begin thinking. You are one. And I do this so often when something is really hurting me. I'm like, okay, I'm one piece of humanity in a time when across the globe there's hearts looking at these ideas. There's people wondering, who am I? Where do I go? I'm one of billions of souls that have said yes to being born at this time. And I am enough, and they are enough. And love is the actual only energy of the universe. And then we get to call it forth and say, it's there. I may blow the next step, but it's there. And I can go back and apologize for the last step, look at it and say, okay, that's an old perception. Now let's shift to another one. And I can have the conviction, the absolute conviction that life is evolving, that it is filled with good. Look at the trees right now. Life hasn't left. It's there. It's vibrant. It's alive. And at the same time, we're being asked to change our perceptions. And my response is, thank you, God. I don't want those old perceptions. I don't want those old ways of believing. So I say yes to building the quality in me that expands through my world, through our world, and this universe. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We are blessed, and we are going to receive our tithes and our love offerings. If you are on our automatic program, thank you so much. You can text 77977 and the word Unity of Portland, all lowercase, and that will go through our push pay. For those of you in this sanctuary, we are still looking at what to do. There is an offering basket out in the entryway for those of you who would like to send in a check or go to our website at unityofportland.org. Thank you, God. But mostly what we know is that divine love, the very energy of the universe, moves through each of us, as us, and that all that we have, all that we give, all that we need, all that is, continues to expand. And we are so blessed. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen.
Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. And I'm grateful for all that I have. Yes, I'm grateful for all that I give. Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. It blesses and multiplies all that I give.
Thank you, Loranda and Mark. As we remember that the very essence of the universe moves through us as we walk, and I have absolute conviction that there is not one of us that did not come to share the love that we are, the light that we are, and to begin to be a part of creating peace on this planet, one little breath at a time. And so we're going to sing this together, whether you're at home or whether you're in this space. I just invite you to stand and to hold these ideas. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me this day.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let's close this service with our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Thank you, thank you. Have a love-filled week.